Harold is 71 years old. He is a retired postal worker from Dayton, Ohio, and for 32 years he walked a delivery route of roughly 11 miles a day, which is why, when his feet started going numb last spring, he assumed it was just the bill coming due for 3 decades of pavement. He was wrong. The numbness was not coming from his past. It was coming from his kitchen, from one specific vegetable he was eating every single day because he believed it was the healthiest thing on his plate. And the part that should concern you is this. Harold's story is not rare. If you are over 60 and you have felt tingling, burning, or a strange dead patch on the bottom of your feet, the odds are high that no one has ever asked you the one question that would have caught Harold's problem 2 years earlier. Before we go any further, do me a favor and drop your age in the comments below, because I want to see how many people watching this are in the exact window where this matters most. In the next 20 minutes, I am going to give you 5 specific things: the name of the vegetable and the exact amount Harold was eating, the mechanism, step by step, of how a compound in that vegetable may reach the nerves in your feet. A 30-second check you can do tonight, sitting on the edge of your bed, that gives you a rough early read on the nerves in your toes. One simple food pairing that researchers have found can dramatically reduce how much of this compound your body absorbs without giving up the vegetable at all. And the exact 3 tests to ask your doctor for by name, because numb feet after 60 has several possible causes, and the most dangerous mistake is guessing which one is yours. There is also one detail in Harold's morning routine that his doctor never asked about, and it turned out to be the entire story. I will show you what it was, because I would bet a fair number of you watching are doing the same thing right now. So here is exactly what you are getting today. First, the vegetable itself, and why Harold's version of eating it was so much riskier than simply having it on a dinner plate. Second, the plain English explanation of oxalates, the compound at the center of this, and the documented way they can end up in nerve tissue. Third, the bedside toe check, which takes 30 seconds and costs nothing. Fourth, the calcium pairing trick, including the specific foods that work and roughly how much you need with the meal. And fifth, the 3 tests to request by name at your next appointment, including the one test most primary care visits never order because it is not part of any standard panel. Every one of those 5 gets covered before this video ends, in that order. A quick word on who I am. I am not your doctor, and nothing in this video is medical advice. What I do is spend my weeks reading the published research on senior health, medications, and nutrition, and translating it into the specifics that a 15-minute appointment never has time to explain. Harold is a composite drawn from real documented cases in the medical literature. The mechanism, the numbers, and the tests are all real, and I will tell you where they come from as we go. Now let me take you back to Harold's kitchen, because that is where this actually starts. 3 years ago, Harold's doctor told him his blood pressure was creeping up, 142/88, and that he should eat more leafy greens. Harold took that seriously. He is a disciplined man. He bought a blender, and every single morning, 7 days a week, he made himself a green smoothie. 2 large handfuls of raw spinach, a banana, some frozen berries. He drank it standing at the counter before his walk. He felt good about it. His wife, Carol, felt good about it. And for about a year, nothing seemed wrong. Then, in the spring of the 2nd year, Harold noticed something odd. Standing at the sink after dinner, he realized he could not quite feel the cold tile through his left sock. Just a patch, about the size of a silver dollar, on the ball of his foot. He mentioned it to Carol. He did not mention it to his doctor. Retired mailman, he figured, feet like old boot leather. Over the next 8 months, the silver dollar became the whole ball of the foot, then both feet, then a tingling that woke him at 2 a.m, like his feet had been asleep and were refusing to wake up. The scary moment came in November. Harold was carrying a laundry basket down the basement stairs, could not feel the edge of the 3rd step from the bottom, and went down hard. He fractured his wrist, bracing the fall. In the emergency department, a physician finally did what nobody had done in 2 years. She took off his socks, pressed a thin filament against his toes, and asked him to say when he felt it. On 4 out of 10 spots, Harold felt nothing at all. That is peripheral neuropathy, measurable nerve damage in the feet. And here is what makes his case worth 20 minutes of your time. Harold was not diabetic. His blood sugar was normal. His vitamin B12 was normal. His alcohol intake was 2 beers a week. Every usual suspect came back clean, and his doctors were genuinely stuck. And here is what nobody told him, until a kidney specialist happened to look at his chart, saw a small kidney stone from the year before, and asked one question no one else had asked. What do you eat every day without exception? 2 handfuls of raw spinach, Harold said, every morning, for 2 years. The specialist put down the chart. That, he said, may be your answer. And Harold is not unusual. Numbness and tingling in the feet affects millions of older adults, and the National Institutes of Health notes that in a large share of peripheral neuropathy cases, no cause is ever officially identified. Some of those unexplained cases, the research now suggests, may be sitting in the blender. So let me give you the mechanism, plainly, because if you understand it, you can protect yourself without giving up greens. The vegetable is spinach, and the compound is oxalate. Oxalate is a natural molecule that plants use partly as a defense chemical, and spinach is the single most concentrated common source of it in the American diet. Per the United States Department of Agriculture data used in oxalate research, 1 cup of raw spinach carries roughly 650 to 750 milligrams of oxalate. Harold's 2 handfuls blended came to somewhere near 1,500 milligrams a day. For comparison, a typical American diet runs around 150 to 300 milligrams a day. Harold was taking in 5 to 10 times that every day for 2 years. Now, in most people, most oxalate passes through and leaves in the stool because it binds to calcium in the gut and forms a crystal too large to absorb. But when oxalate is absorbed into the blood in large amounts over long periods, it can form microscopic calcium oxalate crystals inside the body. Most people know these crystals as kidney stones, and that is exactly what Harold's earlier stone was. What far fewer people know, including many physicians, is that in documented case reports published in journals like Neurology and the American Journal of Kidney Diseases, those same crystals have been found deposited in peripheral nerve tissue, physically lodged in the small nerves of the feet and legs, where they appear to damage the nerve from the inside. The condition is called oxalate neuropathy. It is considered rare, but researchers who study it point out that it is almost certainly underdiagnosed because no standard blood panel tests for it, and because the symptoms are identical to the diabetic neuropathy doctors see every day. And there is one more piece, the piece Harold's doctor never asked about. Blending matters. When you chew a spinach salad, the oxalate stays mostly locked inside intact plant cells. When you pulverize raw spinach in a high-speed blender on an empty stomach, you rupture those cells and release the oxalate in a form your gut can absorb far more efficiently. Same vegetable, same amount, meaningfully higher dose reaching the blood. That was the detail, not the spinach alone. The daily, blended, empty-stomach, high-volume spinach for 700 straight mornings. The crystals in Harold's kidney and, very likely, in the nerves of his feet did exactly what the chemistry says they may do. Harold was not unlucky. Harold was consistent. Now Harold is one profile, so let me give you 3 more, because this reaches wider than a retired mailman with a blender. Margaret is 68, a former school librarian in Tucson. She never touched a smoothie in her life. But 4 years ago she had gastric bypass surgery and lost 85 pounds, and she is proud of it. What her surgical team told her, and what she half remembered, is that bypass surgery changes how the gut handles fat, and unabsorbed fat grabs onto calcium, which means less calcium is left free to bind oxalate. The result, documented per research in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, is that bariatric surgery patients can absorb several times more oxalate from a normal diet than everyone else. Margaret ate a perfectly ordinary amount of spinach, beets, and almonds. Her body absorbed it like Harold's dose. Her tingling started in her toes at 66. If you or someone you love has had gastric bypass or has chronic gut conditions like Crohn's disease, you are in the higher risk group I mentioned earlier, and this video applies to you double. Second case. Raymond, 74, a retired diesel mechanic outside Birmingham. Raymond's habit was not spinach, it was almonds. A doctor told him nuts were good for his heart, so he kept a tin on the workbench and went through roughly 2 cups a day. Almonds run about 120 milligrams of oxalate per ounce, so Raymond was clearing well over 1,000 milligrams daily from nuts alone, on top of the sweet potatoes and peanut butter he loved. His numbness showed up as burning, like his feet were sunburned under the socks, worst at night. His A1C was normal. Nobody thought to count his oxalates. Third case, and this is the counterintuitive one. Doris, 81, from Grand Rapids, ate almost no high oxalate food at all. But 2 years ago, her doctor took her off dairy because of a suspected intolerance, and she never replaced the calcium. Remember the mechanism. Calcium in the gut is what ties up oxalate and escorts it out. Strip the calcium out of the diet, and even a modest oxalate intake gets absorbed at a much higher rate. Doris was not eating too much oxalate. She was eating too little calcium next to it. Same crystals, opposite doorway. 3 different people, 3 different routes, 1 shared endpoint. Numb feet that everyone blamed on age. So here is exactly what to do, in order, starting tonight. Item 1. The 30-second toe check. Sit on the edge of the bed, close your eyes, and have your spouse or anyone in the house take a cotton swab or the soft corner of a tissue and lightly touch 10 spots across both feet, the tip of the big toe, the ball of the foot, the outer edge, the heel, 5 spots per foot, in random order. Your job is to say, "now," each time you feel it. If you miss 2 or more spots, or if one foot feels clearly duller than the other, that is not a diagnosis, but it is a finding, and it is exactly the kind of specific observation that gets a doctor's attention far faster than saying, "My feet feel funny." Write down which spots you missed and the date. Item 2. Count your daily oxalate honestly for 3 days. The big sources to check are raw spinach, beets and beet greens, Swiss chard, almonds and almond milk and almond flour, rhubarb, and large daily doses of sweet potato or peanut butter. If a smoothie is involved, count it double in your mind, because blending raises absorption. Researchers who treat oxalate problems generally aim patients at under 100 to 200 milligrams a day, against the 1,500 Harold was drinking. Item 3, and this is the one that lets you keep your greens. Pair every higher oxalate food with calcium in the same meal. Not calcium at breakfast and spinach at dinner. The same meal, because the binding happens in the gut while the food is together. Studies in the Journal of Urology on stone formers found that taking roughly 300 milligrams of calcium with a high oxalate meal, which is about 1 cup of milk, a serving of yogurt, or an ounce and a half of cheese, can cut oxalate absorption substantially. If Harold had simply made his smoothie with dairy milk and yogurt instead of water, his story may have gone very differently. Item 4. Rotate the greens. Spinach every day is a dose. Spinach twice a week, rotated with kale, romaine, arugula, and cabbage, all of which are dramatically lower in oxalate. Kale carries only around 20 milligrams per cup, against spinach's 700, gives you the same blood pressure benefit your doctor wanted without the accumulation. And a note on cooking. Boiling spinach and discarding the water can remove a meaningful share of the oxalate, per food chemistry research, while blending it raw does the opposite. Item 5. At your next appointment, ask for 3 tests by name. First, a hemoglobin A1C to properly rule diabetes in or out, because diabetes remains the most common cause of numb feet and must be checked first. Second, a vitamin B12 level with methylmalonic acid, because B12 deficiency is the second most common cause in seniors, especially anyone taking metformin or acid reducers like omeprazole long-term. And third, the one almost nobody orders, a 24-hour urine oxalate collection. It is not exotic. Any lab can run it, but it is not on any routine panel, so it does not happen unless you ask. If the first 2 come back normal and your feet are still numb, that third test is the question Harold needed someone to ask 2 years sooner. Say the words 24-hour urine oxalate to your doctor and let them take it from there. There is one more move, and almost nobody outside kidney clinics knows it. If you have ever had a calcium oxalate kidney stone, even one, even 20 years ago, treat that stone as an early warning light for everything in this video. A stone means your body has already proven it can push oxalate into crystal form. Researchers describe the kidney as the canary, because crystals tend to show up there before anywhere else. So the advanced move is this. Ask whoever treated your stone, or your current doctor, whether the stone was analyzed, because most stones that get captured are sent to a lab and typed, and the result sits in your record. If it was calcium oxalate, you have a documented personal biological reason to run the 24-hour urine test and to hold your daily oxalate low for life. One caveat: if your stone was uric acid or another type, this particular logic does not apply to you. And if you have significant kidney disease, do not change your calcium intake on your own, because calcium recommendations shift with kidney function, and that is a conversation for your nephrologist, not a video. Harold, by the way, is doing better. Once the picture came together, his smoothie changed. Yogurt base, kale and romaine instead of raw spinach. Greens rotated through the week, and his oxalate intake fell from roughly 1,500 milligrams a day to under 150. Nerve damage heals slowly and sometimes incompletely, and I will not pretend otherwise. But 8 months on, the burning at night has faded, and the numb zone on his left foot has shrunk instead of grown. The point of his story is not fear of a vegetable. Spinach is still a genuinely healthy food in normal, rotated, chewed amounts. The point is dose, form, and frequency, the 3 things a rushed appointment never has time to ask about. So take the 3 things you can do this week. The cotton swab check tonight. The calcium pairing with every high oxalate meal starting tomorrow. And the 3 tests, A1C, B12, and the 24-hour urine oxalate, requested by name at your next visit. Everything here is educational, not medical advice, and Numb Feet always deserves a real workup with your own doctor, because the cause that fits you may be something else entirely. But walk in with specifics, and you become the patient whose problem gets solved instead of shrugged at. If someone in your family drinks a green smoothie every morning, or has had gastric bypass, or has been quietly ignoring tingling feet the way Harold did, send them this video today. Because the earlier the nerves get relief, the more they recover. And if this was worth your 20 minutes, hit the like button and subscribe, because next week I am covering the common heartburn pill that may be quietly draining vitamin B12 from millions of seniors. And if you take one every morning, you will want to see it. I will see you in the next video.